Katia, welcome to Easy Conversations, and really excited to have you on. I think this is a first, as we were speaking here before we jumped on, that you're actually on a boat traveling.
Yeah.
I haven't had anyone do a recording with me in that setting, so this is first, and there's always a first for everything. But yeah, definitely wanting to learn from you today and explore your background. But I think the biggest thing is, how do we show up in different ways, especially when it comes to speaking, right? And there's a lot of research that many people fear public speaking more than death itself, which is interesting. And
Yeah, it's scary statistics.
yeah, and then I think for you, there's a cultural aspect too, which you've had to overcome. So we'll definitely get into all of that because I think a lot of people struggle with what they're being told how they should be, and that can bring up shame for many people that we have to navigate through our own journeys. But before we get into any of that, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share with the listeners a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Yeah, so hi everyone, and thank you, Furkhan, for having me. And I'm Katya. I come from a small European country called Slovenia,
Mm,
and I am very proud to be somebody who is helping people to step on the stage because I used to be a performer. I used to be the one going on a stage, and I can assure you, I know how frightening it is. I am also, I call myself a very privileged person, being born to a loving family and being able to educate myself the way I wanted to. Also, in this world, I think I have to say I'm privileged also to be able to vote
mm,
and to speak up when I think it's the right thing to do. And I also like to open the doors and windows to the women who do not have this opportunity, to women who don't get a chance to speak up. So,
mm,
public speaking for me is so much more than overcoming stage fright. It's so much more than trying to shine or trying to be the best version of yourself. For me, it's really a step up also in your personal growth because a lot of
mm,
people struggle with public speaking because they haven't been allowed to shine. They haven't been allowed to publicly speak. They haven't been allowed to even share their opinions.
mm,
And I get a lot of clients like that who have been brought up either with strong religious beliefs, either in Slovenia, we're very Catholic in that sense. And of course, everybody's been taught to be more silent, to be not stepping out from the middle. Also, I come from a country that used to be under Yugoslavia, the old Yugoslavia, which was socialist. And of course,
mm.
socialism taught us don't worry, the state will take care of you. You just have to do well in school. Don't stand up too much. Don't be too loud. Just stay somewhere in the middle. Be quiet. Get a nice job, and everything else will be fine. But of
Mm,
course, today, this is different. We live in a different world. And I don't like those principles anyway.
mm.
If you want to speak up and you have something to say, your own beliefs or the beliefs of mostly other people should not shut you down.
Yeah, that's
But if you
powerful.
want to know a bit more, I'm also a mom of a young boy. He's 11 years old, and I'm also a wife to a British man.
Okay, great,
There you
great.
go.
Yeah, so I do wanna spend some time talking about how do you overcome the cultural aspects? You're talking about the religious influence, you're talking about political influence. How do you then and then there's the cultural piece too, right? So how do you overcome all of that? I know you said that part of it is you're grateful for the family you were a part of, which helps. But outside of that, how do you get through that? And what allowed you to get into the space of being on a stage, right? How did you know that was something you wanted to do? And what allowed you to get there?
I'll be honest with you, it was not an easy path at all.
Mm, mm,
I, as many women in my culture and this society in general, I believe that I obviously have to be more quiet or put in a certain box to be accepted. But I
mm,
was never a quiet girl. It's really interesting. I don't think I forced myself on a stage. It was really mostly other people. From very early age, my parents would be, come on, play something on the piano for a guest, sing a song at this event, something. And I never was like, okay, I really want to do this. So I was being pushed to do this. On the contrary, I was also being pushed to be quiet. Okay, now, Katya, it's not time for you to talk. Now it's time for others to talk or for adults to talk. So I think I was very confused growing up. When is time for me to talk? When is time for me to be quiet?
Mm,
Schools are also very confusing. The messages we get in schools are like, okay, come in front of the blackboard, you'll be questioned now, or maybe you'll be even shamed if you won't know the answers, or you will
mm,
not get a good grade. It's very confusing. And then as a woman, when I was growing up, trying to be liked by the guy, trying to be
mm,
accepted, I was struggling to be quiet.
mm,
I struggled with the principles of what a woman should be like and what a man should be like, or
mm,
what a woman shouldn't do and what a man can do.
mm,
This was a real struggle for me, especially in the moments where I would go, for example, out with my girlfriends, and the guy would go out with his boyfriends. And there would be this misconception of when should I be home or when should the man be home? And I think
mm,
this still goes on in the world. I
mm,
see these everywhere. And I just simply realized I don't want to live like this. So this was the hard path because I obviously had problems with relationships then. I just wouldn't budge. I would not, a man would meet me, they would like me. I was a performer, I was quite famous, I was everywhere in the media, and I was quite liked, popular. But then they wanted to change me. And I was like, what? You liked me being popular and out there, outgoing, forthgoing, but now you want me to be silently behind the cooker? It's not going to work
mm,
like this. Oh, I
mm,
like cooking, by the way. Don't worry. But this really brought me so far in my life to this huge frustration
mm,
where I started changing myself to be liked by the right guy, that it completely confused me in what I want to be, what I want to do, and how I want to be perceived. Until one day I simply said, that's it. I can't do this anymore. I can't adjust all the time because guess what? If I keep adjusting to somebody to be liked, it doesn't work. They don't
mm,
like it and they want more. They
mm,
want more changes. But then I started losing myself. So Furkan, I was like, this is it. I am not doing this anymore.
mm,
I drew the line, which of course was really risky because I was like on the verge of either losing myself or losing a partner.
mm,
But I realized that the partner did not leave.
mm,
When I put my foot down, I said, I'm not changing anymore. I'm not doing this. What you like, you obviously need to talk to yourself. You obviously have your own issues. Why you're coming at me, why you want me to be different. So, can you please look into this? I respect you
mm,
the way you are, but can you please respect the way I am?
mm,
And this was the key point in my life. This was a major turning point. Even my mother and father noticed a huge change in me because I started setting boundaries to everybody, family, friends, working people, anybody. And people were like shocked at the first. But I can assure you, being only truthful to yourself is the only thing that matters.
mm,
Of course,
mm,
here comes a disclaimer: do not be truthful to yourself over other people's dead bodies. Never,
mm.
never on the account of others. Yeah, I'm truthful to myself, but I'm not hurting other people because of it. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
expecting the same from the other side. Please don't hurt me. If I'm not hurting you, I just want to be true to myself.
Yes.
And this
Yes.
has everything also to do with public speaking.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
Okay. Absolutely. We'll definitely go into that. It's interesting. There is a fine line though, right? So as I agree with you, as much as if you're being true to yourself, you don't want to go out of your way to harm or hurt others. But the other side of it is if you're being true to yourself and if the other person is getting hurt because of you setting boundaries, that's their problem. That's not for you to figure out for them. And I think a lot of times when initially when people are standing into their own self-worth and choosing themselves, because there's been such a pattern and familiarity around, oh, this person maybe is a bit more passive or it's easy to push them around a little bit, that can create some friction. And a lot of the times people will either intentionally or unintentionally respond by guilt tripping or manipulating the situation. And then for someone who's really working hard on setting boundaries, that can be very difficult. So I see that quite a bit. But at the end of the day, it's reminding yourself that if they're still choosing to be hurt because of me speaking my truth, that's not my problem to deal with, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know the simple question to this is So if somebody's trying to say, why are you like this? Why are you saying these things? And I go, what does it do to you? How
Mm,
does it matter to you? And what are you going to do about it? This
mm,
is such a nice
mm,
question. What are you going to do about it?
mm.
I like it so much because it's not something, you're not doing the guilt trick here, but you are asking a very open question. It's not a closed question, it's a very open question. So, what are you going to do about it?
Mm.
Why that it bothers you so much? Because I'm not really going to change here. How can we change this so it's better for you? And I'm
Yes.
always there if it's about partnership or relationship, any kind of relationship, brother, sister, friendships, whatever. I'm always willing to be there as a support. It's not like I'm
Mm.
going to turn my back and say, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You deal with it. No, I am here to discuss it, but please don't accept me to be the only one working at this.
Yes, absolutely. And you talked about your early experiences, and what I was hearing was we get conditioned very early in life through our caregivers or maybe the adults around us, even in the form of school, to become compliant, right? It's like, don't be too much, but also don't be small, or put on a performance, but then no one to shut it down. And then, like you said, it creates this confusion, but then you also start losing yourself like, okay, who am I supposed to be? Because the adults around me are trying to tell me to fit into a box, like you said. And what I've realized is when we're being put into a box, we're being told that who you are as you are uniquely is not acceptable. And then that's what we start believing. And what I've learned in my own journey is I am who I am. Like, I'm a unique individual. I'm not going to be this person just because other people want me to be that way. Because to your point, I start losing myself if I try to put myself in a box. So I've had to define my own life and what works for me. And that's a constantly evolving thing. But it's brought me so much freedom and peace by just accepting that. So that's kinda what I've heard from you, right? And so, you got to a juncture in your life where you realize that, "Okay, if I'm gonna be someone else for these men or whomever I'm in a partnership with, I'm losing myself." So what shifts did you notice as you started setting boundaries? I know you said your relationship started to evolve and change too, but what about you yourself as an individual? How did you start feeling, and how did that also impact the work you were doing?
Yeah, so it impacted everything immensely. I finally became somebody who's more liberated from her own
Mm,
thoughts, from her own boundaries, because boundaries that came from outside were absolutely anchored inside me for quite a long
mm.
time. These anchors have been quite rusty. It's hard to get them out. It's not a one day thing. It's not a button you press. It's not an on and off thing. And yes, it took some years to work on this. But what I can say is that going to therapy really worked for me because I have let go in therapy completely. But at the same time as going to therapy, because I will never just go somewhere else to a third person and let them do the work, it's also going to be me doing the work. And I always say to people, if you don't have a good therapist who's actually making you do some changes, then that's not right because just talking about something is never going to resolve the issue. It's your own decision. So I made a decision that I want to be exactly who I am, that I will definitely adapt to situations whereabouts I'm not maybe behaving appropriately or where I really want to be quiet because I want to be more quiet. But I definitely want to speak my mind whenever I want to speak my mind. So that also changed in business. I decided what I want to do. I decided completely for myself where I want to be. So I quit my entertainment business. I was a singer, I had my pub band, and I completely stopped doing that. Even though people are still today, oh, when are you going to release your next song? And I'm like, probably not in a while because I'm
Mm,
really enjoying what I'm doing and being fine with that decision. You know how many people they want to be singers or performers, but they can't be? And they're looking at me like, why did you throw this away? But I'm like, because it was a decision and it was a free choice that I
mm,
made. And I can live with this and I can sleep calmly with this choice. So I can only say that when you become true to yourself and you really start setting healthy boundaries, very healthy boundaries around yourself.
mm,
And when people see the change and the shift, and they start understanding who you are, who you've become, they go along. If they truly
Mm.
love you and respect you, they go along. It's a
Yes.
joint ride and it's a beautiful ride.
Yes.
And so, for example, the result of relationships with my parents is that my parents will now say, wow, Katya is someone we don't know, but she's amazing. She's doing everything she possibly can. And
Yes.
she's trying to be successful. And we see that she's really trying her best. So it's
Mm.
not, oh, what is she doing? And for
Yes.
me, in my culture, I think in every culture, by the way, I'm sorry, I think in any culture, where your parents are with you, the relationships, they matter until the day everybody dies.
Mhm.
And so for me, it is important where my parents are in my life and that they respect what I do.
Mm.
That really does matter. And that also my son respects what I do because the
Yes.
line goes on.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I would kind of say that being true to myself was the riskiest thing. It was like doing a bungee jumping, not knowing whether the rope is good, but it was something that I will never regret. Never, ever. And I'm
Yeah.
definitely using my story to inspire other people, mostly
Yes.
women.
I agree with you wholeheartedly because when it comes to people that love us and really care for us, when they see that shift, I think it's to your point, they don't know who you are, but I think they benefit from this fulfilled person that you become, right? Because they also experience a better version of you. And yeah, it's only the people that perhaps are unable to look into themselves are the ones that get threatened and then they react. And to me, that's been also a good thing to experience because then I realize that these people are not serving my growth. And then it's up to me again to evaluate, okay, do I need these relationships in my life or
Yeah.
not? But I agree. When I chose certain things for myself, the people that have been by my side from day one
Mhm.
also started to appreciate and respect that, even though they didn't understand what was going on. And we don't have to, right? We don't have to
No.
understand. But it's interesting, right? So you stepped away from your singing career. I am curious because I see some commonalities in the choices I've made too, career-wise. But I'm curious for you, what was it? Was it also being a singer came with being in a box? At times there was expectations, people wanted you to be someone that you couldn't be, or was there more there?
Yes, the quitting the singing part was the painful part,
Mm,
and the accepting it came later, a bit later. And so I became a mother, and my son was about 2 years old when I would come home from gigs at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. He would wake up at 6, and in that time, maybe my husband was in UK. So disaster. And I was asking myself, how can I be a good mom? This is not being a good mom. And I just realized that singing wasn't fulfilling anymore. But to
mm,
get to that point, it took a lot of discomforting moments, especially with concert organizers, people, media. I did not grow into the society where I have to wake up and use my phone immediately to share everything from my everyday life. Whereas in my country, all the singers, all the performers are constantly doing this. They're like
mm,
constantly doing this selfie business, sharing everything they're doing, and I just wasn't up for it.
mm,
And that I came the realization that if I'm not to keep up with that, I'm going to be forgotten. So I
mm,
stepped out of it before I would allow this to happen. I'm still not forgotten. My songs are still being played, and I'm still thinking of sometimes doing another song. But to stop doing concerts was such a relief
mm,
because you give everything on that stage. And sometimes you have to step on that stage and you're not really feeling it. So
mm,
I have good acting capabilities that I can mask everything that is I'm taking with me on that stage. But sometimes it was really horrible. Sometimes I
mm,
would go on a stage and it would be live television and I really didn't feel like I belonged there.
mm.
It was a lot of this competition. I'm not really a professional musician. I'm more like a natural a musician, just a
Yeah.
talented musician. And I had a bit of luck, I must say, because the first song I released, even though I did everything properly, PR, media, photo shoots, videos, everything. I knew how to do good marketing, but I made it with my first song. Do you know how many
mm,
people are doing this for decades and they never make it? And I created a radio hit, which really threw me out there in the world.
mm,
And it was amazing, but at the same time, really
mm.
scary.
Yeah,
And so this, they say for a reason, there's no business like show business because there really isn't. It's hard, it's fun, but it's really hard.
yeah.
Hard.
It's also interesting, right? Because you're sharing that there are times where you didn't want to be there
Yeah.
and you would put on a mask, right? And that again goes against the whole idea of being true to yourself, right? Because
Mhm.
the whole idea of the art is lost if you're having to force yourself and put on a show, for lack of a better term, right? And then that's where we start experiencing friction again. And the reason why I'm emphasizing this is for personal reasons too, because I came to that realization, and that's where I was alluding to, where I can relate to your story. Because when I was working in corporate side, I had similar experiences where I just didn't feel like I belonged, and I would have to put on a mask to be there, and it got exhausting after a while. It was costing me too much, and I
Mhm.
still from time to time, it's all financially, it doesn't make sense at times. So I was talking to my wife about it too, and she's supportive. She's like, do whatever you want to do. And then I hit that roadblock again that I've been able to cultivate and nurture a life that I feel myself in 100% and I enjoy it and the freedom that comes with it. So I definitely relate to a lot of the things you're sharing. Now, in terms of the stage presence, and it doesn't have to be show business alone. It could be being in front of a group of people and being able to speak. What are the skills that you had to develop and learn for yourself, and what are you passing on to the women you work with?
Yes, I must say that everything, all the pushing on the stage since I was a little girl, I think everything created the version of me that I am today.
Mm,
What I've noticed when I was a singer was that I had an incredible good way of communicating to the audiences. So my parts between the songs, when I spoke, when I was presenting, were incredible. I really went among the audience, I connected with people, and that's why people really enjoyed my concerts. It wasn't just the music, it was the whole story around it. And the fact that I never looked down at people, I never looked at the audience down. I was always like, we're equal. We're on the same path. We're on the same journey here. Yes, I'm on the stage that's lifted because I'm short, but we're on the same level. And I
mm,
never wanted to be like this. I'm the star. Everybody look at me. I'm feeling important. Never. I never went down that way. And I think through choosing my path, setting my healthy boundaries, and deciding that I'm going to get off the stage, I realized how much I have to give to people that want to go on stage, but
mm,
are too scared to do it
mm,
because they haven't been given the right to do it. They haven't been given the allowance to do it.
mm,
And
mm,
so the knowledge is purely mine. I keep
mm,
discovering new ways of teaching public
mm,
speaking. I keep studying the therapy that I've been taking, that I've been doing, which is
mm,
called psychodrama, very special modality of psychotherapy. Psychodrama is actually very much renowned around the world, and it was also very famous in the States,
mm,
even though it's coming from Europe. But in Beacon, New York, psychodrama had a very important sanctuary there, a very important institution. Unfortunately, when the father of psychodrama, Moreno, died, that's when also these institutions got shut down. But there's a lot of
mm,
people around the world who are still living in this culture of psychodrama. And so psychodrama tools and the fact that I've been doing psychodrama for over 2 years individually, and the fact
mm,
that I'm studying it now, that's what's really helping me work with my clients.
mm,
Understanding the psychological boundaries, understanding how it is to be on the stage, and understanding the boundaries you have to put to the outer world to allow yourself to just be who you really are.
mm,
Because if you don't allow yourself to be who you really want to be on that stage, you're not going to make it. You're just going to go
mm,
and fake it. And that's not going to really be the thing. You're not going to enjoy it so much. It's not going to be something that you'll go, oh, I've really done an amazing job. Does
Mm.
that make sense?
Yes. So what I'm hearing is, again, based on your personal experience, being able to be your true self and maintain that boundary, but then also not treating the audience as separate from you. To your point, having that hierarchy. It's in that what I'm hearing is the audience is part of the show. So
Yeah.
you're doing this together while you may be the one performing, you're all in this together, right? So there's that
All in this
collective
together.
approach. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And the most important thing is the difference between a public speaker who's going on a stage with, oh gosh, what will they think about me? To a public speaker who's only asking himself, what do I have to give?
Mm,
So basically, I never go on a stage worried, what will people think about me? Never.
mm, mm,
Because what they think about me, they'll think about me anyway, whether I like it or not. But I always go on stage with one goal. Actually, two goals. One
mm,
goal is for the audience. What do I have to give to my audience? What do I want to give to my audience? What would my audience go home with? What will be their intake? And my
mm,
second goal is, what do I want to go home with? How do I want to feel after this presentation or after performance or after speaking in front of a board meeting? Or it doesn't matter. It can be a one on one meeting.
mm,
Always have a goal for yourself. And people are always looking at me, what? A goal for myself? And I'm like, yes, because you're overthinking what you need to do to be liked by the audience, but the audience can be 100 people, 1,000 people. Guess what? Not everybody will like you. So what you're trying to do is to be liked by the majority. And how you do that, you have to first like what you're going to do. You have to like it, not them.
mm,
And this is a major twist. This is a huge twist. People are like, oh, okay, I haven't been thinking about this. I've been working on my texts a lot and I've been working with ChatGPT a lot, working on how I want this to be structured. And I go, we're not going to start from the structure. We're first going to start with, what are you trying to tell? What's your true story? What's the
mm,
message here? What's your
mm.
gift?
So that takes the pressure off because you're not trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. You already have solved it.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
And
How
one thing that I do with my clients, it's a very interesting, even in the workshops where there's multiple people, where everybody comes with their own issue, many different issues. I often do the psychodrama tool, which is role reversal. I ask them to go into my role and I go into the audience. And then I ask the other people in the audience, how do you see this person? Do you really see this person as horrible as they think they are? And everybody's like, no, I think they're doing great. I think they have an important message. And
mm,
nobody's hired to act it. It's all very honestly, but this is so true. The audience actually has a lot on their mind too. They're not constantly worried about us. They have their own shopping lists and worries in their head.
yes. Yeah.
And this is the reality. Unfortunately, we just think, all eyes on me, all eyes on me. I'm just going to die. That's it.
Yeah. And I have conversations with clients when they're struggling when they have social anxiety. And as
Mhm.
sad as it sounds, I have to remind them that everyone's self-absorbed. But we create this perception in our head that, oh, people are gonna be focused on what I am going to say or how I'm coming across or how I look. Meanwhile, everyone's thinking the same thing. So it takes that pressure off, right? So I appreciate that. Now, are you able to elaborate if you haven't already, and maybe I missed it in this context, but the psychodrama piece of how does it actually come into play when it comes to public appearances or even speaking? What
Okay,
are the
so
some key tools? Yeah.
so psychodrama is something that will help you overcome
Mm,
certain problems, anxiety, even social anxiety. So psychodrama is a modality of psychotherapy, which is it's a group modality. But you can also run it individually with objects, with cushions, with chairs, with tables
mm,
in the space where you are. But basically psychodrama is just incredibly fast way of getting your whole body to feel where the trauma is,
mm,
where the problem stands. Because a lot of people go, I am, for example, I like working with an example. So an example would be a client she doesn't get along with her mother. Fine. Oh, my mother never supported me. She never liked what I did. That's why now I'm afraid to go on a stage, because I
Mm,
constantly have my mother here saying to me, "You're not good enough. You're not good enough." And now I cannot shine, and I need to present my projects at work, and I really suck at it. I'm terrible. I'm scared. Okay. So I can do a little psychodrama with her, which is going to be simply, I'm going to use certain animals or cushions or chairs, and I'm going to go, let's be your mother. And she will
mm,
go in the role of her mother, whereas somebody else, a cushion or a chair, will be her. So from the position of her mother, she will speak to herself. Oh, you're
mm,
not good enough. You're not the, all these things that the mother said. And then she will go in the role of herself, and I will repeat what the mother said. So
mm,
psychodrama is never guessing. It always comes from the client, never from the therapist. The therapist just guides the client and always repeats everything that's coming from the client. The only tool that is allowed is doubling. Whereas if I feel that I could say something through a role, I say, I touch the client gently on the shoulder and go, "What if you would say this?" And then they will go, "Yeah, actually, that's a good idea." And they will repeat it, and it will go
mm,
through their body. And what it does, when we start speaking it, when we start facing this characters of in our life that are causing the issue, the body immediately reacts to it. Like if you talk to victims who have been, I don't know, maybe raped or war victims, they mostly get over the trauma of the action, but when the body remembers, they can't. So if it's
mm,
going to be a smell of somebody that was in the traumatic situation smelling the same, or if it's a sound, the body remembers. It's not, they don't start talking about it. Oh, this smells like the man that raped me. No, they don't do that. Just the whole body reacts and they go into the shock. And
mm,
psychodrama is really effective in the way that you can go, of course, with the very severe trauma, you go very carefully to relive it. But with the ones that are patterns, the ones that are just constant, annoying patterns in life, you can go and redo them, recreate them. So when I ask my client to now become her again, I ask her to speak to her mother however she wants to speak. And so
mm,
from the client comes, I have enough. I don't want to I don't want to listen to you. You're wrong. I'm my own person. And it can come out aggressively. It can come out with tears. It can come out with sadness. And sometimes even with feeling sorry for the parents. Sometimes even with sorry for the other person. Oh,
mm,
yeah, they didn't know better, actually. It wasn't their fault. It was actually, I know I can be myself. I know they would allow it. So
mm.
this is quickly on an example how psychodrama works.
Yes.
So you have three
Yeah.
tools. And often I would also do that mirroring, which means that we recreate the whole situation with toys maybe or
Yes.
some objects. And then
Hmm.
I will repeat the wording of everything and the person will look from the outside in, which is also extremely effective.
Okay. No, I appreciate you walking us through that. So, what are some things then you factor in when it comes to stage presence? What are some key items to consider for someone that wants to speak in front of a small group or even a large group? What can they do from that stage presence type of perspective?
Yeah. So the first thing is that if you're going to think shy, you will probably act shy. If you're
Mm,
going to think you're weak, you're probably going to look weak. Even if you come with a strong voice and try to fake it till you make it, you're probably at certain point you're going to break. So I like to work with animal world here, Furkhan, and I like to say to people that who are not very confident, you do not have to be confident 24/7. You do not have to go through thousands of therapies and I don't know what sessions and meditation and this and that to change yourself. If you want to be shy in your everyday life, be shy. But when you need confidence, just step into that role. And so I
mm,
like to ask my clients, what animal are you when you're normally communicating to the world? And
mm,
sometimes people will say, I'm a dog, I'm a pussycat, something weak, something small. And I
mm,
go, okay, describe that animal. Oh, I'm very humble, I'm very quiet. If I'm being summoned, I will come to somebody. Okay, but what animal would you like to be when
mm,
you are performing, when you're standing up, when you try to speak and present something? And of course, interesting animals come up like tiger,
mm,
dolphin, eagle, bear, all these strong animals. even if they're not physically strong animals as characters. And then they describe that animal. And I say, that's
Yeah.
it. All you have to do is become that animal for those 15 minutes of the meeting,
Yeah.
not for the 24 hours of the day, not for the whole life, but for those 15 minutes, it will save you. You will feel better. You will be able to do your job properly, and you will not be performing badly. You will be
Mm,
performing from that animal that is
mm,
inside you, because somewhere inside, we have those hidden animals. We all have
mm,
them. And you know why? Because when we were young children, we all knew how to play, be playful.
mm,
So, stage presence in combination with your true animal, with the animal you want to be, in combination with the playfulness that you bring from your childhood. We all knew how to use our voice when we were children. We all knew how to say, "Give a doggy." So we all knew how to be loud and very articulated. But
mm,
then along the way, we somehow forgot it and we just wanted to be plain and monotone. And I
mm,
teach people, no, become that child and say, look at those figures. They're amazing. Like it
mm,
was a puppy, like it was something funny. And just change the tone of your voice. And that
mm,
automatically creates stage presence, because when we activate our voice, what happens to our mimic? It automatically starts activating itself. What happens to our hands? It automatically activate themselves, and also the whole body. So
mm,
when we start using our voice properly and we relive the animal inside us, that's really something that works 100%. And I use
mm,
this on my workshops. They last only 6 hours. And you know what? It works every time. It's unbelievable. When I'm
mm,
like, present your animal, who you want to be. And they go, I want to be the bear. And I go, here you are, Michael, you're the bear. Go for it. And they just change. And their speech is amazing,
yeah.
because
Yeah. So,
the little doggy is just there in the corner, and that they can become that doggy anytime. They go home, watch television, be with their family, they can be the doggy. But when you need it, become that bear or
mm,
whichever animal you like.
yeah, yeah, fair enough. And what about sometimes I find people will either be very stationary on
Hmm.
stage or when they're speaking, and others will move around, which to me seems they're more comfortable. But
Hmm.
what are your thoughts on in that sense? Do you stay in one place or do you move around and engage more with the audience?
That very much depends on the setting, that very much
Mhm,
depends on what's expected of you, and that very much depends on the technology. So
mm,
if you have a stationary microphone, you will really have to activate your body to be in touch with the audience. You will really have to use your eyes to catch every corner of the theater or wherever you
mm,
are, of the
mm,
ambience of the venue. And if you are nervous and you want to walk up and down, don't do it. That's terrible.
mm,
But if you
mm,
use walking as part of your speech, as part of emphasizing the words, the messages in your speech, then do it. The greatest speeches I've ever seen have mostly have been in movement, but the
mm,
movement that's really been not only studied, but really, it's like a performance. It's like a choreography.
mm,
And at the same time, the people who are really great at public speaking, they know when to stand and just stand and be silent. So
mm,
you can walk, you can move, but when to stop and just be present and deliver that message that you want. And that message is so important. And then just pause and just wait.
mm.
That is so important. So many people are afraid of silence. So many people are afraid of pauses. But
Yes.
pause is the greatest gift to the audience, because it gives them time to process everything you've just said. And it gives them time to reflect truly,
Yes.
meaningfully for
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Pauses are really powerful for sure.
Any movement that comes from nervousness is not a good movement. It goes
Right.
also for hands. Some people just repeat the same pattern, and some
Yes.
people just do the same move. It's just, yeah, it's not good. So,
Right. Right.
nervous movement, I'd prefer you stand and hold yourself to the stage, like to that standing. How do you call that? The little,
Oh, the
yeah,
po
the
yeah,
podium.
yeah,
Yeah. If you
yes.
have to do that as a first time to overcome something, that's a good thing to hold
Mm.
on to something, not to fear that you're going to faint.
Yeah,
Solution.
and what I'm hearing from you is the body movement, if you do choose to do that, needs to be in sync with how you're speaking and the message you're delivering, and if there's any
Yeah,
misalignment, it's obvious to the audience, right? And then the message can get lost, unfortunately. So,
absolutely in alignment, and absolutely everything we do is only extension of our words. So everything we do with our body, with our voice, with our eyes, it's the extension up to our words, so that people can
mm,
really that we deliver the words like a package, like a gift, not like
mm,
a how do you say shotgun, like do, 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 do. If you go and speak like really monotone, just saying facts, do, 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 it's like a gun, machine gun. I was gonna
yes,
say, and
yeah, yeah.
that's I always say the bullets don't stick. They don't. They just bounce off.
Mm,
So if the bullets are like words, we want the word to sit on the person, which means we
mm,
have to deliver it with ease as a
mm,
gift with everything we can do with the whole body.
mm. Yes, no, appreciate that. And you're obviously a very passionate person about everything you do. And so, how do you manage your passion, and how do you teach people to manage that passion when they're performing or delivering something?
It's so simple. It's just a
Mm,
decision.
okay.
It's a
All right.
decision. It's
Yeah.
like the moment I feel that I'm slowing down, the moment I feel that that my passion is maybe dying, or that I'm a bit tired or overwhelmed, I go, no, this is not it. This is not where it ends. I am 45 now. I need to still live on, and I need to. So it doesn't come from force. When I say I need to, it doesn't come like I get up really tired and go, oh, I need to. I need to. It doesn't work like this. But it's more
Mm,
like the inner talk with myself. So what really drives me? What really drives me is the right question. And everything that I work on drives me. And the things that don't, and if I have to do them, because of course life isn't so perfect that you sometimes don't have to do things that you don't like. Of course, you sometimes
right.
have to do things you don't like, paying bills, dealing with
Yeah.
accountancy,
Yes.
or
Yes.
horrible clients, or I don't know, silly people. Of course, you
Mm,
have to. But you always go and ask yourself, what's my inner drive?
mm.
And that there you get the answer.
Yeah. So, just being more curious and paying attention to what's going on internally for you so you can course correct or do things differently so that passion is always living within you. Now, can
Or just looking at what you've already achieved. Sometimes people
mm,
go and do something and then they never look back. If I sometimes say, oh, maybe I don't have enough clients, I just look at my notebook of my clients where I write my notes. And there's several notebooks on my table. I'm like, Katya, that's not little clients. That's a lot of
mm,
clients. So
yes.
I immediately go, okay, that was just a little glimpse.
Mm,
Because the bad wolf and the good wolf, Furkhan, the bad wolf is always silent. He's growling. He's full of anger. And the
mm,
bad wolf is easy to feed. He's just there. He's constantly
mm,
by our side. Whereas the beautiful, white, calm wolf, he's always quiet. To
mm,
feed him is quite difficult because we have to turn from the bad wolf to the good wolf and go, look him in the eye and go, oh, you're here. You're the good wolf. So this is
mm,
where I go. My notebooks are my good wolf. I go, yeah, Katya, you've done well. You know why you're here. You know why you're passionate about this.
mm,
So I just
mhm.
move on.
And what about situations where one is over passionate? How do you tone that down? Especially again, if we bring it back to the speaking or performance side of things, because too much excess energy can be disruptive too, right? So how do you channel it and deliver that message without going overboard?
I will say that that doesn't happen a lot.
Mm,
But if it does, I always stop that and I ask, what's happening right now? What's happening inside you?
mm,
Because it's really important what's going on inside that person right now. And thankfully, I often record my clients, it's video recording, so that they see that they're too much and then they don't like it. And it's not like I want to point out the mistakes. I'm always like, look, I'm always going to video you because it's important that you understand that what I see, that you see it too. Often people will go, oh, I didn't have any. And I go, okay, let's see. They had lots of ums and ahs, but they didn't
yeah,
hear them. So if I would just go and tell them, oh, you had so many, this was really not good, they would be like, what? No, I didn't. But if they see themselves, they go, oh, I see. And I just ask them, what's happening right now?
mm,
What's happening internally? And they go, yeah, I get overexcited, or I think I should really stress this. I go, yeah, but you're stressing too much, too many information. Not everything is important. Stress out what you really feel. Let it come from I say sometimes, let it come from your stomach. Let it come
Mm.
from really from within you with passion. If you would be reading a story to a child, parents were always really good at this. They would get into the characters, they would know how to be the evil guy, the good guy. And that's how you have to do it. That's how you have to perform a speech as well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Katya, thank you so much for this conversation. I've learned a lot. I've really enjoyed speaking with you. And obviously, you've made time for this episode, for this recording while moving around. So I really appreciate your flexibility. I know we touched on a lot of things. Any final message or thing that maybe we didn't touch on that you would like to share with the audience? Just wanted to give you that opportunity right now as well.
I'd like to say to our audience, Furkhan, that being authentic doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be shy.
Mm,
The authenticity comes from something that lives inside you and that you've just put away for a little while. But you can take that box and reopen it. And everybody likes to be compelling and everybody likes to be powerful in their life. They like to achieve things. And for that, do not allow yourselves to be put down. Just set the boundaries with people who are doing that to you. And trust me, they're doing that to you from their own pain. Don't allow it. And don't do it because you're afraid they're going to abandon you.
mm,
And if they have
mm,
to, then they have to. I'm very serious about this.
mm,
I hope nobody
mhm.
will call me from your podcast and I'm divorced because of you.
Yeah, sometimes things need to happen, right? So, yeah,
Yeah, but it's cool.
fair.
Fine, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, thank you. And for listeners that want to learn more about your work, even listen to some of your music, what are some ways they can do that?
I'm really present on LinkedIn and I have a great website that describes it all. It's called italk.live,
Mm,
www.italk.live. And it's all in English as well. I like to work internationally online. And yeah, I am present on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook under my name. And my artistic name was Katarina Mala, which meant Catherine the Small. Instead of
mm,
Catherine the Great, because I'm very short, I'm about 5'2". Yeah, I called myself Catherine the Small. And people thought first, why the small? And I said, because I can prove to the world that small people can do great things.
mm,
So the media really took that on board. And I had very provocative lyrics, by the way, in my
mm,
songs. They were describing everyday life, perspective from a man or a woman, and it was really interesting, the
mm,
response of it all. And yeah, so I would love to connect. People can also engage through my website and do a discovery call. And I'm willing to give the half an hour free of charge completely to do analysis of the public speaking if anybody needs that. I'm
mm.
really more than happy to connect with anybody. Really happy. And so
Awesome.
grateful that I was here with you today. Thank you, Furkan.
Yeah. No, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you again. And yeah, we'll put all of that in the show notes, but I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You